Picking a favorite book of the year sounds like it's an impossible task and kind of like picking your favorite child, but just within each year. So I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna show you my top books of 2020. Hey everyone, I'm Courtney and welcome to the Incessant Bookworm. If you haven't already done so, I suggest checking out my Cincinnati Bookstagrammers Night vlog. So this is where a bunch of friends, bookish friends to be exact, from Cincinnati and I went to a book warehouse for a night, had the whole place to ourselves, and some books were bought. I will just put it at that. Some is used lightly, I will say. Also, if you haven't been following me over on my Instagram or my Facebook, feel free to head over there and follow me there, since I post some extra bookish content that is not found here. Plus it's a little bit more frequent, more so than just once a week like these vlogs. Alright, so as we are nearing the end of 2020, I figured it would be a good idea to reflect on my top reads of the year. So I did do a mid-year book freak out tag in the middle of the year that talked about books I was looking forward to finishing for the year, ones I read in the first 6 months of 2020, ones I kind of gave up on, and then some other fun little prompts there. So I thought it'd be a nice wrap up, and I don't have as many books to share this time because I wanted to narrow the focus a little bit, but I think there are some good ones and I wanted to share those with you. So the first one is Ready Player One by Ernest, Cline, and this one I think I've talked about many times in the past month, and this was a impromptu read. So I'd seen Ready Player 2 being advertised all over the place. Clearly I knew it was the sequel, but I hadn't read the first one at all, and I was feeling some FOMO. So I picked up the audiobook before I picked up the print version that I have in my hand, but I listened to that in like 2 or 3 days. It was engrossing. It was such an adrenaline rush. Not the kind of book I would typically read because it was a little bit of sci-fi, some like gaming aspects in there, but it was really cool how it was incorporated into like this bigger picture of like government control or like higher power control because of more wealth and more money, and then also like creating a utopia through like a virtual reality or augmented reality kind of system. So it was really interesting. It's been described as a combination of Willy Wonka meets The Matrix, so I absolutely loved it. And then when I went to the Cincinnati Bookstagrammers Night, this was on the shelf at the warehouse and I had to get it, and this was like 2 days after I finished the audiobook, so definitely one that I will reread and hold on to. Next up is What Kind of Woman by Baer, and this is a poetry collection. So this was sent to me by Harper Perennial probably late summer, early fall, and I don't usually read poetry much or at all, but this definitely changed my view of how poetry can be or how it can be relatable. So Baer writes a lot about like female empowerment, what it means to be a female, what roles females like typically have when it comes to like social kind of worlds and how we can break those down. And these are really short poems, like maybe half a page, maybe a page and a half at the max, but it's just so beautifully and simply written. But I flagged, like I still have the flags in there. Focus. There we go. Some flags are in there from all the poems that I liked. So this is one that I will definitely recommend countless times. It came out in November officially. It's a fairly recent read or book that's been released, so definitely one to pick up if you're wanting to stretch yourself a little bit more outside maybe your typical fiction. At least this is me talking to myself, or readers like me where poetry's not really in my mix too much. This is a good one to get you started with it. Then we have My Life in France by Julia Child, and this is a big inspiration for me for wanting to kind of embrace where I'm at or like different situations that I'm in and make it better or make my circumstances better and learn more because I want to be more independent and more empowering. So this follows, it's Julia Child's like memoir, biography of when she decided to become a chef or to learn how to cook more while she was in France for her husband's job. So that, I mean, like, not that I have ambitions to cook or anything like that, but just thinking of my dreams and things that I want to do, like open a bookish bed and breakfast or like work in the book industry or do something like I'm doing now but professionally. So I admire this so much in her story of the different struggles she faced, how she overcame them, how persistent she was and how she used what she learned and got better, even if she failed or whatever that looked like. So this was also an audiobook, and then this was gifted to me on my birthday by one of my best friends. So that was very sweet of him, but definitely a good read if you're looking to be kind of inspired and see kind of where you can go with the dreams that you have and like working hard and being dedicated and motivated. Then we have From Notting Hill with Love Actually by McNamara, and this I read when I was sick over Thanksgiving break. So 2 weeks being sick, not fun. It started right before Thanksgiving and went over the break, so I was on the couch a lot, and this book kind of made me happier. And it's a light fluff read about this woman who like loves 80s, 90s, early 2000s rom-coms and tries to like live out those different experiences from the different scenes that she likes. And she's engaged to this, I think he's like a movie theater owner, and like her and her dad are like popcorn maker people. She goes to explores Notting Hill for, I think it's a month, and it's like basically her chance to get all the movie-isms out of her system. So it's very cute, really cool callbacks to a lot of movies that I've enjoyed, ones I haven't seen before but I've heard of and know the references just because they've been used so many times in different pop culture references. So this, like I said, was my saving grace when I was sick, and maybe because I was hyped up on meds or just sleeping a lot or whatever, but I think it's just a cool, fun read. Yeah, pretty dense too. I think it was like 400 pages. So yeah. Then we have Britt-Marie Was Here by Fredrik Backman, and this one I've talked about constantly. This was also on my mid-year freak out book tag and a lot of other book tags that I've done throughout the year on the vlog and the blog. But this follows Britt-Marie. She is going through a divorce and is kind of like finding herself all over again at an older age. And she goes to this like really, really small town, and what she thinks is going to be temporary, but starts building friendships. She really doesn't understand sarcasm or humor too much. Takes everything very literally. So it's kind of fun, the different characters that she meets in this town. It's just, they are intrigued by her because there's no one quite like her in that town. So definitely love this one. I'm always a fan of Fredrik Backman's work, but this is probably my favorite of the ones I've read by him. The next one I have is this book that I'm holding up to you because I don't have the physical copy. It's More Than Enough by Elaine Welteroth, and this is the story of a biracial woman, and she reads it herself. It's a memoir, and I listened to, like I mentioned, the audiobook, so she narrates it, and it's really cool just to see, as a biracial woman like myself, kind of the challenges that she faced as she wanted to get more into the business of like fashion and being a CEO or an editor of a fashion magazine, and what she went through that. So just really cool to see her romance, her love life, and like the friends that she made along the way, her mentors, employees, just everything that encompasses being biracial or just being different, not knowing like where your place is, or just being confused as you're growing up on picking one or the other and things like that. So it's just really cool to be able to look up to somebody like that and just to see how far she's come through the different experiences that she's had. All right, the next two are books that I have lent out, so I don't have the copies here, so I will put them in this general frame. But the first one is Expectation by Anna Hope, and this follows three women in their 30s as they've been friends for some years, but they're all on their different paths or different ways of making their 30s their own. So one woman is struggling with pregnancy, one woman is struggling with her career, and one woman is struggling with relationships. So as I'm now 31 years old, I think a lot about what this looks like for me, as I'm not necessarily where I am or where I wanted to be when I was younger or in college, but also looking forward to many years to come and what that could look like. So it was just interesting to follow these three women around and see their struggles and how they communicated with each other, also getting into some strikes or some conflict with each other because of wants and needs that one may have and the other may not. So just interesting story, and I shared that with another friend who's also in their 30s just to get another perspective, since I don't know, it's just an interesting time right now, a different generation than what 30-year-olds years ago would have been experiencing. And then the last one is Verity by Colleen Hoover, and this one I read during the Dewey's 24-hour readathon back in April. So this was like right in the midst of when the pandemic was happening, so I was still at home but didn't really have like big reading days, so this was like an accomplishment to read 2.5 books that day, and Verity was the first. So this is like a psychological thriller from Colleen Hoover, which I'm not really used to since she does more contemporary romance or fiction of that kind of sort. So this still had those elements in there, but also some mystery thriller, which completely blew my mind. I think I stopped once to like use the restroom or like finish eating and then finished it up. So super fast-paced read. It follows a ghostwriter who moves in with this guy and his wife who is, I can't remember if she had an accident or she just can't move or speak, so she's like bedridden, and she was a famous author, so the ghostwriter is writing in the place of her to continue a series or finish it off based off a contract. So some mysterious things happen. It's super creepy. Ending blew my mind, but yeah, definitely one that was a surprise for me and a good way to kind of ease into the pandemic, I guess. I don't know. Alright, so those are my top books of 2020. I think there are other ones that I have rated like 4s or 5s on GoodReads, but these, as I was looking through the books read through the year, these are the ones that stuck out to me and that I remember the most of. So, and probably ones I would reread in the future. But knowing that my unread shelf is pretty large, I don't think I'll get to rereads quite yet, unless it's maybe an audiobook. That one I can probably do or swing a little bit more easily, but even so, I want to read more books that I own before I go out and start grabbing new bestsellers or new releases or things like that. So yeah, that's what's happening here. I'm excited for the new year of books, so I've been planning out my different reading challenges, like the Read Around the World Challenge. I joined Whitney Conrad at the Unread Shelves 2021 reading challenge, which is again to read more TBR books that are on our shelves at home or owned. So lots to look forward to. I will be posting a January to be read video as well as a 2021 goals video in the next few weeks, so just look out for that. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up or comment down below some of your favorite books of 2020, or if you've read any of the ones that I have mentioned, please let me know. Let me know some of your goals for 2021, maybe some reading challenges that you're participating in. I would love to hear from you all. If you'd like to support me in a different kind of way, I have my Ko-fi and Amazon wishlist pages linked below as well. But that is all I have to share with you today, so have a great day and happy reading!